And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in the studio this morning from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, Andrew Moore, Executive Director, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning. And scene.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good.
It's a great day. It's Fair Week.
It's Fair Week. Weather is perfect.
Oh, it's been beautiful.
Everything we've asked for is kind of happening this week.
That's right.
So we can't complain. Of course, folks, if you haven't been out to the fair yet, get on. Matter of fact, the first big concerts start tonight at the fair. It is Senior Day, 3 to 6 today. It's free admission for seniors all day. It's 55 and older.
Yes.
But from 3 to 6, they've got special seniors vaccines. You can get shingles, COVID, flu shots. And
awesome. That's right, because it's flu season now.
Yeah. There's one more missing in there, too, but they'll help you with all that stuff. So
yeah, come on in. And
especially that shingles one. I mean, that's a good one to get.
Apparently, that is nasty stuff to get.
Well, I mean, it's one of those deals. If you're over 50, I think is when they say you can start getting them.
I think so.
Obviously, if it's 55.
I'll have to ask my husband since he's old people now. And he's listening, so I'm gonna get a text here in a minute.
Since his AARP stuff showing up in the mail there.
I told him that this morning. I was like, oh, by the way, if you want to go to the fair, it's free for you today.
Yeah.
Because it's Senior Day. He threw a pillow at me.
Well, I can't say much because I'm starting to get. I'm not 50 yet. I'm sniffing it.
Ditto.
I'm getting the AARP stuff in the mail and all that stuff.
Yeah, I probably should lay off a little bit because,
glass house.
Payback.
Payback. But so that's happening today. Come on out, be a part of it. The first concert is it Jody Nix tonight, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah,
because today is
American Idol
Christian kind of rock stuff tonight. Tomorrow is Tejano.
Yeah, and then Country Night Friday.
Yep.
And then they got another. I don't think it's Tejano, just Latin music night Saturday.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be fun times.
Big things. Chamber, as far as we were in the parade and had the big stuff in the parade there. We're not in a booth out there.
No,
this week,
we are not in a booth.
But we are in our building. So if you need to come by and have anything the chamber related, even if it's a question about the fair, or whatever.
And you can't miss the building anymore because we have this huge alien mural.
It's a beautiful mural. I saw it the other day. Yeah. It's great. It's is our same artist that paints many of the murals?
Eddie Macias has done it for us. He is doing a fantastic job. Yeah. It's about 95% completed. He's been working diligently. He wants to have it done by today.
Cool.
Because we're hoping that it's going to be on national television tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Do you give him any direction or just say, hey, paint me a mural and...
Well, it did start with, hey, paint me a mural. Yeah. And so he gave us some ideas and we put input. Okay. Hey, we like this more than that. Okay. We like.
So you kind of give him a theme, and then he just kind of runs with it. So
he's going to paint it in such a way that it's kind of like a comic book.
Okay.
So that way, because I told him, I said,
so is it going to have panels like a action panel?
So that's the first panel is that whole wall.
Okay. So you kind of read it as a story.
And then I told him, as we get more funding and grants and sponsorships and stuff, I said, I have 4 walls that you can eventually paint. Like, I would love to see the entire building, since it is ours, we own it, we're not renting it, that it can be all of this alien stuff, because that's what brings tourists into town. And if they stop and take a picture, they'll come in, we can direct them to then all of the other wonderful things that Roswell is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I assume everybody comes for aliens, and then I say, hey, how long are you here? Okay, and then I've stopped asking or telling people go to the UFO museum. We assume everybody is coming.
That's kind of speaks for itself.
Yes, so I go, how long are you in town for? Oh, okay, after you're done with the UFO museum, you need to contact Amy. You need to contact Robert. You need to come over to RMAC. Here's, you're outdoor enthusiasts? Well, then there's 3 spots that you need to go to. Bottomless Lakes, Bitter Lakes. You need to go to the refuge down there off of Sycamore.
Absolutely.
Great hiking, great outdoors stuff. It's, within, 20, 30 minutes, either Bottomless Lakes or Bitter Lakes.
Absolutely.
So, we try to tailor it to what people want to do.
Sure. It's all about getting that foot in the door sometimes.
That's right.
And that's marketing 101. It's, they stopped to see the mural. Now that they've stopped, now you got their ear.
Now we can show them all the other stuff that we've got.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. So it's. I mean, you think about it. look at other landmarks in town. Dunkin' Donuts. How many people take pictures in front of that big alien every day? Oh, by the way, they probably get a cup of coffee after they're done taking a picture or getting a donut or an ice cream cone.
And the same with McDonald's. Look at that UFO that Nick has out there for the
people
kids'
come
playland. People
pictures.
Stop at night. It's lit up. It's beautiful. And chances are they stop and they'll get a hamburger or fries.
Yeah, same kind of deal.
That's right.
That's marketing, and that's how it works.
That's right. And it's $1 billion brand that we have for free in our city.
Absolutely.
That other cities and towns would die to have.
And to be honest, the more into the future we go, the more popular it gets. You know what I mean? Because it's space and aliens, and it's the unknown.
We've got a space race going on right now with the three big billionaires.
I feel like it's a theme that's got some legs. And we've got because it's the best of both worlds. We've got the history of the old with the 47 crash and everything that people, and obviously we got way bigger and better, deeper history than the 47 crash.
Yes.
But that's what everybody knows about. So you get them in to learn. They say, oh yeah, we're here about the crash. Oh, by the way, did you learn about our Lincoln County War connections? Did you learn about our dairy industry? Did you learn about all the different odds are if you had a pizza, you've eaten a pizza in your life.
You've had our cheese.
Pretty good. You probably ate cheese from here.
Exactly.
That's the kind of stuff
it is just, I have traveled all over the world, and I tell people I'm from Roswell, and immediately they know Roswell, New Mexico, aliens, and of course they go, oh, Area 51 or
sure.
And I'm like, nah. I stopped telling them it's Nevada, but I'm like, if that's what you think, yes, 100%, you're right.
You come look for it.
Come on, come to Roswell. And
we have Area 52.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we don't. And I grew up in Colorado, and you can't even say that about Denver, New York City, LA. People around the world don't always know what that is. But you say Roswell, New Mexico, and everybody immediately goes, aliens. And I'm like, that's right.
Well, and I can give you an example of it just, being local. If you're local and you've raised here and all that, you kind of, you get a, I don't know if jaded's the right word, but you take it for granted a little bit.
Yes.
What we have here. And the example I'm going to give you, because of where I grew up. I grew up in Maryland, the suburbs of Washington, D.C. I had the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the White House. I had history up my butt. I couldn't throw a rock without hitting something historical where I grew up and lived. I grew literally 5 miles from where I lived. Was Dr. Samuel Mudd's house. He's the man that set John Wilkes Booth's leg when he assassinated Lincoln. Spent a couple days there. That house was 5 minutes from my house, and as a Boy Scout, we used to whitewash the fence and been in. I mean, that's the kind. I mean, I had history everywhere. But my point is, and I see it, especially now that I've come out the area and come back, and I live. It's no different everywhere else. People that live in the D.C. area, they think nothing of the White House or they drive by it every day. It's no big deal. It's a place where homeless people pee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's kind of the way locals think of it. That's not the case, but that's what people think of it. And of course, it's kind of the same thing. Whenever family comes to town and tourists, what do you guys do? You take them to the Alien Museum, and same thing. We take them to the mall, take them to the museums, take them to, ours is big enough where you can make a couple trips. It's like, oh, next time we come out, we'll go to Mount Vernon, or next time we come out, we'll go here, or whatever. It's just there's so much there, and for them to get kind of nose blind to it in that world where it's so in your face. It's easy to see how it could be done here, and that's why we need to remind ourselves. No, we have an international brand here. We have something that people in countries you've never heard of are familiar with our town.
Yep.
And we need to make sure we take advantage of that in any way, shape,
That's
or form.
Right. Bring them.
If we've got it, might as well flaunt it. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Why hide our eggs under our basket when we can use that for prosperity for our community? And that's what it is. So that's why I mentioned the thing about the DC, just because you can't see the forest from the trees sometimes.
Well, that's how it was growing up in Colorado and Denver. We had a lot of that kind of history in Denver, and it was the same thing because those are your field trips every year when you're in school. That's those are the places that you go. So growing up, you're like, I have to go there again, and then you grow up, and now that I'm not there, when I go back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember. And I can tell my kids, oh yeah, every, spring we went to the Capitol building because the Colorado State Denver Capitol is just a phenomenon. Yeah. And you can go up there and see all of the different mountains and stuff. So that's, and we've got.
But if you're local, you don't think about it.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just, and then, but yeah, bring the aliens, bring the UFOs. So we're excited for it. Yeah. Come on, take pictures.
Absolutely. So look for more murals coming up here on the building here pretty quick. And like another, for instance, I lived in Waldorf, Maryland, which is about 10 minutes from Andrews Air Force Base.
Okay.
If it's south of there.
Okay.
But where we lived, I think was for one of the main runways. It was either their landing or takeoff patterns that they would do. Air Force One flew over my house like 4 times a day.
Wow.
How many times I look up, oh, there's Air Force One. And you take that for granted. And so, like, if that happened to people around here, like, holy crap, there's Air Force One.
Well, when Obama came to town, he flew over my house to come to Roswell. Yeah. And my kids and I, we did that. We were on the back porch and we're like, there it is.
I played hockey in the cul-de-sac in front of my house all day during the summers. 3 times a day, we look up. There's Air Force One flying over. It's just
isn't that crazy?
It's just the world you live in, and what you put it in perspective sometimes. Yep. So think about that, and think, yes, we have this gem of Roswell, and even the Lincoln County side. I know, we think more about Lincoln, but you talk about Wild West stuff. If you said name a Wild West person, 9 out of 10 people, the first thing out of their mouth is Billy the Kid. You're going to get a couple Wild Bill Hickox or Pat Garrett's or even Pat Garrett's in our area. But,
Kit Carson, different, all of that
but
stuff.
But Billy the Kid is, think Hollywood, think whatever you want. Again, it's in the mouth of every person pretty much on the planet.
And that's right here. And it's our back door.
Why can't you utilize that too? It's all, use it together. That's, hey, you're coming to Southeast New Mexico, come to Carlsbad Caverns, come to Lincoln, New Mexico, come to Roswell, come, that's how we prosper as a community, by inviting people and synergy. That whole, hey, you're going to head to Carlsbad? Well, stop and have lunch in Artesia on the way because they got some good restaurants. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you tell tourists and things, and
Well, yeah, and we all have our favorite place, or and so we're like, okay, depending on who comes in the door at the chamber, who answers the door at the chamber when we have people come in, you're going to get a different recommendation for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, because we do actually have a wide variety of places to go eat. Mm-hmm. And so, we try really hard to not send everybody to the one place, because there is usually one place that we can all agree on.
Sure.
But we do have a lot of other members, so we have to go, okay, if we said Billy Bob's Diner, we need to tell them to go to Sally's Bakery next time, because you got to share the love, because both Billy Bob and Sally are great.
Yeah, they're both. I was wondering, like, do fights start if someone just walked in and said, hey, where's the place to get some good Mexican food around here?
It just depends on who's the one talking to that customer, because I'll tell you, we all have different
people. They all have their different, and they're all great for their own reasons.
Exactly.
It's like, well, I like La Salsa because of all the salsas, but I like Popos because of this.
And we do ask those questions too. We're like, okay, what do you like?
All right, yeah.
And if somebody goes, well, I'm really, into enchiladas, well, then we know, okay, we're going to send you here. Oh, I'm really into, tableside guacamole. Okay, well, then you're going to go over here.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want a really good margarita, that's a whole nother place.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really we as a community can do to promote our own community. Like when
we absolutely
events,
need to be doing that,
like
because
UFO Festival and stuff that draw people in. Be ambassadors for our town.
Well, and we are our worst enemy as well as citizens in Roswell, that we are the first ones to say, oh, Roswell's awful, it sucks. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Roswell is wonderful. Mm-hmm. Do we have issues? Of course we do. We are a town like every other town and city anywhere else in the world.
Is there more than 2 people in a room?
Right. And so, we've got some issues, but overall, we are a great community.
Yeah.
Our weather is fantastic. Where else can you go golf almost 12? Well, no, you can golf 12 months out of the year.
Sure. And you don't have to be crazy.
Exactly. You can, outdoor activities you can do 12 months out of the year.
Sure.
you get paid a pretty decent salary. I mean, if you get paid, even what people, roll their eyes at, I'm going to say $40,000 a year, you can still live pretty well.
Sure.
In Roswell, because our median
cost of living and
it's awesome. Yeah. It's fantastic. You live in a nice house. Mm-hmm. You can afford to feed your children, and then you can still go and visit all over the place.
We're the best big small town. And what I mean by that is we still have a small town feel.
Yes.
But we have the amenities of much larger community. Something that a small town of this size generally does not have accessible. And to be honest, the reason why, part of that is because we're Roswell, New Mexico, and we're a name on a thing. Now, granted, the base helped us in the early days, and now with even that base is still helping us today in the airline industry. We're on the map. We are an important integral part in the airline industry when it comes to these airplanes.
Because we've got Dean Baldwin painting. Mm-hmm. We've got all of these other industries that help fix or break down airlines in some kind of way, shape, or form. Of course, we've got flights to Dallas and to Phoenix, and from there you can go anywhere in the world.
Absolutely, and we luck out in the fact that we're not as beholden. We're not a one-trick pony like some other communities. Yes. Hobbs, Carlsbad, maybe less Carlsbad, but Hobbs for certain are great communities, but when oil's good, those places are awesome. When it's bad, those places are real bad.
Yeah.
Carlsbad sees it too. They've got a little bit of offset, but it's still in the same boat there.
Well,
where Roswell, sure, it impacts us, but it's nowhere near the as rough here when the oil's bad as it is down in Eddy and Lee counties. It's just not. Because of that diversity, because of our airline industry, because of our ag industry, because of the cheese plant and the ag that leading up to that, all of that gives us our eggs in multiple baskets and oil and gas. So we're able to weather those storms, which allows us to do more. Which means we have a hub. That airport is a huge hub for Southeast New Mexico. To be honest, without that airport, Hobbs isn't doing what it's doing. Carlsbad, all this. Yeah, they have an airport, but it's still. They're not. It doesn't meet the same needs.
We have the largest runway
in the country, just about.
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, there's a reason that presidents have come to Roswell through history to come and do either campaign stops or go on vacation. Yeah, I know as far back, at least through Reagan, I think we've had just about every president come through Roswell. And it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, they've come through because of the runway. Where else can they fly their plane?
Yeah. And when they come to Southeast New Mexico, like when Obama was in Carlsbad and all that, that's where they landed.
He landed here and then
helicoptered him down
Marine One to wherever they were going to go.
To Carlsbad there to
Carlsbad to the Caverns.
Remember, that was that one time the elevator worked, remember?
Yeah, the one time. Exactly. Because you can't have the president walk in and out of the caverns. Jeez.
But that's what we're talking about. Roswell's got this footprint that we need to make sure we
pretty
utilize.
Cool. Yeah. We really are pretty cool. And if you're bored, you're not looking hard enough. Mm-hmm. You're not. And I was guilty of that at one time, saying all those same things. But being in the chamber, it has forced me to look at things completely different. So definitely this last year and a half, I've really changed. But I've loved Roswell well beyond before I worked at the chamber. So I think Roswell's awesome. And I've lived in many places around the country. And hands down, I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah, it's a close-knit community. I mean, yes, like you said at the beginning, we all, we have our problems like every other community.
That's right.
That's just life. But we have a great community, and we have great people that make it great, but we need more people to continue. Get involved, stay involved, pick your passions. I don't care what they are. If you're into animals, if you're into kids, if you're into pets, whatever it is, find your passions.
Because there's something here for you.
Yeah, get involved with those. Help make our community better by getting involved in these things.
And if there's something that you're passionate about that you can't find a club or an organization or a way to do it, start it.
Yeah.
Because I promise you're not the only one.
Well, and ask. The chamber is a resource.
Yes.
Ask if you say, hey, I'm new to town. Is there any organization dealing with this? And if they can't answer that question directly, they'll get someone to answer that.
Well, we had a gentleman, as a matter of fact, come into the office yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking for a prospectors association.
Okay.
Apparently, a little old man had gotten him into prospecting.
Okay.
And I guess if you're part of this particular prospecting, and I think it's called the National Prospecting Association or something like that. If you are a member of this particular association, whatever claims they have under their umbrella, it doesn't matter if you actually have the claim or not, but you can go and like pan for gold on that claim.
Like public panning lands
yes.
or something. Okay.
And so this gentleman was telling us about that, and he's like, you can go in the middle. He goes, it looks like you're in the middle of nowhere. You take your buckets, you take some shovels full of dirt.
Okay.
And his buddy had a sleuths, which is, the way to pan for gold. In his barn, because he owned a dairy at one time.
Sure.
The dairy wasn't going anymore. And he said, so for a couple of days, they had a pickup truck worth of dirt that they went through. And he goes, by golly, there was gold.
They got some, and to be honest, I've watched enough of that Gold Rush show on TV. Like if you get like a film canister size, but that's got just like
those
bottom
little
cover,
flakes,
that's worth thousands of dollars right there. Just that little thing of it.
It's amazing.
You're like, wow, that's crazy.
So I had just learned something new even yesterday, because he came in and he goes, I'm looking for this particular association. Well, there's not one actually in Roswell, but there is that association in New Mexico. And he goes, you know what? I think I just will get a hold of the New Mexico chapter and see how to make a local one, because I can't be the only one down here that wants to do this.
I'm sure there's probably an interest somewhere. So, absolutely. Another resource, while you're out at the fair this week, walk around the education building, certainly the commercial building, but hit the education building too, especially because you'll see a lot of booths, and they're not booths like the commercial building because they're not manned like the booths over there, but a lot of nonprofits have a little board up there talking about what they do, how to contact them. So if you're looking for your niche too, walk around that building and take a look at some of those.
Yes, that's a great resource. I always go through there, and I'm always amazed. There's always at least one new one or an old one that has changed slightly, and so I do take note of those as well.
I mean, they got them in the commercial building, but the only difference is those are manned, so if you want to talk to a live person. And those are also businesses too, so it's not just
they tend to be more businessy.
Where in the education building, it's all the projects and things, but it's also our nonprofits area for them to promote their organizations.
Exactly, because they might not have the time. Because if you're in the commercial building, there are certain things you have to do.
Absolutely.
You have to be there from 4 to 10 every day, and I think it's 11 on Friday or Saturday. I forget which day.
There's good reason for that, because I mean the fair is like, hey, we want our commercial building packed. We don't want people to walk in and everyone got booths and everyone's at lunch.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well,
they want to make sure there's people there to cater to.
And
it.
in fact, if you want to see me in my other life with my other hat, I'm out at the fair every day until 10 o'clock. So if you want to come to, and I can talk, politics. I can talk chamber business, because I'm out there at that booth.
You'll be at the Republican
at the Republican booth, because I just, once again, I love the fair, and that's my way, and that's my way to give back to things that I love about. And Sheriff Harrington has a booth out there to reelect Harrington. Okay. So if anybody has not yet met the sheriff, which I don't know how,
because I know a lot of times candidates will just all conglomerate.
Correct, but he's got his own, because Mike does his own thing, and he always has.
He's got a whole different world too.
Absolutely. So he's been out there the last 2 nights himself out there, and he will talk to anybody. He will answer any questions, and I promise you, he does. He will legit answer any question. Because if anybody has weird, crazy questions, it's me. And I have gone up to him both nights I've been there, and I'm like, hey, so this just popped into my head, and I've got to ask. And he'll look at me, and he'll go, of course you have that question. And then he answers it.
Yeah. Yeah. I find them weird ones, too, but that's just for radio. But yeah, you're right. Sheriff Mike Harrington, if you got any questions, anything, he's not bad.
Yep.
So
the college is out there, so you can ask if you're looking into maybe taking some classes or you want to know what they have to offer. The college is out there, and then of course there's different real estate agents there if you want to I mean, just about anything. I'm trying to think. So that's why I'm stumbling on my words because I'm walking down all those walkways, and there's just so much going on.
Plus, a lot of great vendor booths. Like if you love like home decor and knickknacks type things, they got a lot of those booths in there too for you. So
there's a couple of gun raffles going on.
Okay, good.
If you want some Jesus, there's always a couple of the Christian booths that give out Bibles, or they'll pray for you, that kind of. Nice. So there really is something for everybody in the commercial building. And of course, I love the commercial building because right behind us is the ice cream.
Yeah.
And so we've already had our ice cream.
That is a place I go every year. I don't care. I don't care if I'm sick as a dog and couldn't eat another bite of food. I'm going to the ice cream.
Yes.
Because that's just what I do.
Yeah. And I have my mug from Wild West sodas that I've had for years and years and years.
I had to retire mine. It got a little beat up, so I got to get a new one.
They're out there.
Yeah, my other one, I had to retire it last year.
So I've got my special one that I have to hide from the kids, and it's funny. It's about 15 years old because they don't even make that kind anymore. It's was breast cancer awareness that they made, I think, 1 year. And I snatched it up.
They're best hand washed, by the way.
Yes, do not.
That's mine. I think over dishwashing time.
Yeah, do not dishwash.
They kind of rusted it out and things.
So I take mine, and they know who. They're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the coolest mug." So the best. Here's a hack, a life hack for anybody going to the fair. Go buy one of your mugs from Wild West. Don't have them put anything in it. Go over to the ice cream booth.
Ooh.
Pay your $4 for 2 scoops of ice cream. Put it in your metal can,
and then
go back to Wild West,
get you some root beer,
and then have them fill up with root beer, cream soda, sarsaparilla. I mean, they've got all kinds of flavors.
I gotta have that debate with him, like the difference between root beer and sarsaparilla.
It's slightly different.
Is it?
Yes, because
I didn't know if it was like a violin fiddle thing or there was a difference.
It kind of is like violin fiddle type thing, but it is because my kids and I had this debate Monday night.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm getting my sarsaparilla. They're like, it's just glorified root beer. I'm like, actually, it's slightly different.
Yeah.
And so if you get a root beer and you get a sarsaparilla and you taste them, the sarsaparilla is more like licorice-y, I would have to say, than root beer.
Then I'm going to probably say I'm probably more of a root beer than a sarsaparilla.
See, and I love black licorice, so I love sarsaparilla.
Yeah, I'm not any licorice fan. But black licorice, I hate. I'll eat red, or I'll eat it if that's what there is.
But you can ask them for a taste, and they'll give you a little taster so you can see what.
And to be honest, I think when I've had sarsaparilla, I just tasted root beer because I just, because your brain does that too.
Well, and it depends on where you go because some companies, they just call root beer sarsaparilla.
Sure. And it's kind of, you know what? You're the same savages that call Canadian bacon ham.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost the same, but not quite.
Yeah, same savages. I got an argument with a pizza lady on the phone like years ago. And I was like, I would like Canadian bacon and pineapple or whatever I asked for. And she's like, you want ham? I said, did I say ham?
That's right.
Canadian bacon. We don't have Canadian bacon. We have ham. I said, well, I want Canadian. She goes, well, I'll give you ham. I said, they're not the same.
They're not the same.
I went into this whole thing about
they're
ham.
They're similar, but they're not the same.
I ended up getting a hamburger. But anyway.
All right, so just real quick.
Chamber events, yes.
Yes, so real quick, because we've got just a few coming up. On the 7th, which is, oh my gosh, that's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Roswell Skin Center, we are having a business after hours.
Oh, very good.
And then we're done for October.
So they're looking at people while they're there and say, hey, you come on.
Right. Well, so it'll be cool. They'll have all kinds of, obviously business after hours. We have good giveaways.
Sure.
And great networking.
Bring a business card and $1 if you'd like to participate in the
That's
drawing.
Right.
Yeah.
Then in November, we actually have 3. It's a special exception that we're making.
Okay.
So we've got business after hours, Christmas by Krebs. And business after hours at El Toro Bravo.
Ooh.
They have done some major remodeling.
Nice.
And they've had to push back their business after hours a couple of times because of their remodeling.
I'm not observant at all. I get distracted by the food. I could be sitting in a bomb shelter. I'm like, the food's
me
good,
too.
Don't matter to me.
So those are our 2 big ones. And then Kiwanis is having a business after hours over at Backdraft Barbecue.
Yes, yeah, they're doing.
And
16th, I think. Is
yes,
that right?
So we've got the 7th tomorrow, Roswell Skin Center. November 4th is Christmas by Krebs. November 15th is Kiwanis at Backdraft Barbecue.
Awesome.
And if you have not had barbecue yet in this town, which I don't know why you wouldn't
Backdrafts
have.
is
Paul
I haven't been
Thompson
in there since they've been.
At Backdraft, and they just got their liquor license.
Oh, so
so
they can
come
serve
in
some
for
beverages.
a pint and
Nice.
some of his pulled pork. Oh my gosh, it's
I gotta
delicious.
confess, I have not had a chance to go over there since they've been in the brick and mortar place. But I would get their food at the truck all the time,
And he's out there at the fair
and it's
next
on
to
point.
Wild West Drinks.
Yeah, it's on point. It's well, I've had a couple things and they were both delicious.
It's
I
all-
had their nachos.
I've had it all.
I had the sandwich that's got like everything on it. What's that called?
Yes.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's on point.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so okay. Full disclosure: Paul Thompson is a friend of mine. He's my neighbor, and while he was, coming up with all of his barbecue and his own sauce and stuff, he'd call my husband and I, and
guinea
he'd be,
pig,
like, "Oh yeah," he'd be
Nice.
like, "Okay, so I just smoked a brisket. We're in. Come on."
I love being guinea pigs for neighbors.
That's right.
I wish my neighbors were more cooking worthy. They don't cook
So,
for me.
and then on the 18th is El Toro Bravo. So
Awesome.
we've got some pretty cool stuff going on.
Are they still doing that pandemic special? Probably not. I used to love that deal where you can get like 30 tacos or 30
Probably.
enchiladas for like $20 or something.
Probably because that,
Yeah.
like at my house, since I
Yeah.
do have gobs and gobs of children
Yeah.
that are now teenagers, the 4 taco thing doesn't work. We
Yeah.
need 30 tacos.
Yeah, I remember we got it and it was just Kim and I, but we ordered it. It was like $20. This big thing. We were eating tacos for like 3 days, but oh man,
But
was
they're
good.
delicious.
Well, it was like our refrigerator turned into a taco vending machine. You just walk by, like,
awesome.
want a taco? Here you go, and then pull a taco out.
Oh,
you
I
know?
love it. Well, I've got teenagers, and my oldest is an 18-year-old boy. So that goes
Oh,
to
yeah.
Nemi.
They
So when he
inhale
brings
everything.
his buddies, you've got to have 25 pounds of whatever it is that you're serving.
I know. I bet. And you once you see this tray of tacos, it's pretty impressive. I bet one of these Nimi kid, your son, eats the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing by themselves. I
Oh,
bet they could do
probably.
it.
He
Even-
totally could.
Even though that's ungodly horrible, I bet because I remember I was at
Oh,
that
they
age.
absolutely would.
When I was 18, I remember I go to McDonald's and I could eat like 4 Big Macs in one setting and then not be full and
Yeah.
be ready to eat tear up
Well,
some
when
more
we
food and
deliver
stuff. Yeah.
food, my son will text me. He's like, "Okay, can you go get us dinner tonight?" And I'm like, "Okay, I need you to. Who is us?
Yeah.
Is us you and your best friend?
Yeah.
Is us the whole squad?
Yeah.
Like, who's us? Define us, and then we'll go from there. But we've been known to. My husband and I have been known to take 10 pizzas
Mm-hmm.
or flats of tacos. My husband loves to smoke and barbecue and stuff, so we'll take flats.
Yeah.
Like last year during the pandemic when those poor kids were in lockdown,
Yeah.
I would roll up. I'd have everything in the back of my car, and we'd have pans of just food, and I'd pop the back. They'd come and take it, and I know I was feeding a whole stoop.
Yeah, and they would eat. I mean,
And they
I
were
remember
thankful.
back in that, like you get a large pizza from like Domino's or Papa John's or something, and I'd eat that whole thing. by
Yeah,
myself.
I remember
a
that-
large pizza. And now if I thought about that, I'm like, I'd be in a casket if I tried
I could
doing
eat
something
a
like that
whole
nowadays.
in high school. I could eat a whole pan pizza or the thick crust from large size
Yeah.
from Pizza Hut with the thick crust,
Yeah.
and it was no big deal.
Yeah,
And
I could
now
do
I
the same
have
thing.
like 2 slices, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, it stinks in one aspect, but other aspect, it's like it's nice because now I'm a cheaper date. But
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But yeah, I know that feeling here. So definitely get involved with these business after hours. Definitely come out again.
Yep.
Again, we got tomorrow night or tonight for the Roswell Skincare Center. Right?
No, that's tomorrow, the 7th.
7th. I thought you said tonight for some reason.
No,
So
it's the
tomorrow night.
7th. I know, because today's Wednesday. It
Yeah.
feels, because it's Fair Week.
Yeah, I'm off kilter.
I'm off kilter as
That's
well.
Thursday night. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, Thursday. All
5:30.
business after hours are on Thursdays, unless there's some certain special exception
Gotcha.
that we need to change it. And they always start at 5
Yes.
and go to 6:30 because I was trying to change the times on poor Liz the last time I was here. And she's like, no, that's not working.
But yeah, and it's a come and go event. So if you
Absolutely.
don't get off work till 5:30 or
It's
quarter
not
to
a big
6,
deal.
Come on down.
The
and,
whole purpose is to network, to showcase the business that's there.
Yeah.
And that's obviously just one aspect of what the chamber does. Because I know in the past, everybody was like, oh, well, that's all you do. No, that's just one thing that we do. And as long as our members want us to do business after hours, I'm doing business after hours.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. Sheriff's Luncheon, is that on the tap for this month?
It is at the moment, but we're going to verify with him today because he had to cancel last time
month. Because unfortunately, the way it lined up, they just fall right around county commission meeting, right around that same time.
And we're at his mercy. Sure. So if the sheriff has something that has to come up, then he's got to go be the sheriff, and it is what it is.
That's part of the elected part of being sheriff. It's not all fun and games and doing cop stuff. He's got to do
and sometimes it is cop stuff that at the last minute he's like, so something blew up, I got to go.
That's true, too. It's not all red tape either, so definitely true. Is there anything we missed?
I think we got everything. Liz hasn't texted me. Kyle hasn't texted me, and I'll be looking for the magazine. As always, we're right there where it's going to the printer, so be looking at all. We're at the mercy of paper shortages and the post office right now.
So it is putting a delay there on that.
Yeah, we got an email from our printer that said, we are just FYI, we're going to do our best, but they see it coming.
Okay. So hopefully it's not, but I guess worst case scenario, it'll be a digital version, I guess.
It'll get printed. You're going to have something in your mailbox. It just might not be, tomorrow.
Gotcha. Very good, but more to come as we get
information
there. Awesome. Well, thank you, ma'am, as always.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Get on out to the fair, everybody.
Woohoo, fair day.
9:57. Let's